Hello everybody, Dead Spikes here, and today I'm coming at you with a budget Trickster build. I put a lot of time into this build, and I've been wanting to make one for a long time for you guys, because I have a lot of Trickster mains in my friends, and just people I play with in general, and they've been asking me a lot, oh, what kind of build can I use for early game when I don't have all the legendaries yet and such. So, I finally sat down and I spent a few hours, and I put together a budget build. Now this build is 100% farmable and does not require any RNG legendaries or anything. So you can get this yourself with just a little bit of grinding, but at least you have stuff to work towards rather than just praying for an RNG drop. This is from actual sources. And you can see it does a lot of damage. And this build is actually really fun in my opinion. Like going from a full-fledged build to this, it's a lot of fun. But this build does take a lot of focus. You need to be paying attention to everything that you are doing. Mostly your ammo. Your ammo is the biggest part of this build. As soon as that ammo runs out, you are in a very, very bad spot. So I'm running Vampiric Mag on this build, and I get 50% of my magazine back every time I kill something, which is fine up until you're running against an elite that is very tanky. And you have to pay attention. Normally when I'm around like 7 to 10 shots, I'll stop shooting that elite and I'll focus on a smaller target instead, just to get that whole magazine back. All right, here we got this door open here. Let's see if we can kill these elites. Knock everything out in here. Looks like we got one elite left there. And we just got this last enemy here, and boom, now we're gonna go over the build with you guys. Fun little fact for you guys that I just did on purpose. I wanted to see if the game would actually cuck me or not. So I used my borrowed time outside the elevator. I went into the elevator of Chem Lab and rode it all the way down, and then clicked my borrowed time, and it did teleport me back up here, and now I'm locked out from completing the rest of the expedition. Alright, so we're gonna go over our stats here real quick. I always forget to show my stats in videos, so here's a quick stat overlay for you guys if you want to see what I ended up with all of my stats. And the skills that we are using Borrowed Time, Twisted Rounds, and Time Rift. It was really fun to switch up this build because I'm used to just running Ventilator's Knife and Hunt and Prey, but this ended up actually being better. Now, we are finally gonna go over all of the build we are running here. So this build is basically around max DPS to be able to just clear mobs as quick as possible, because, you know, we're basically trying to speedrun expeditions, but at the same time have a little bit of survivability. There isn't much, so this is kind of a glass cannon build, so to say, but it can go all of the expeditions as long as you play it right. This build does take a lot of practice to get down. You're not going to be able to just put it on and jump in and do it perfectly. So you're going to have to really practice it a few times, be patient with it. Once you get it down, this build is extremely fast and it is extremely efficient. The weapon we are using is the Bulwark. It is a legendary weapon, but luckily you can buy this from Tiago with a little bit of drop pod resource. Maybe have a friend help you run some expeditions, or just run some low level expeditions until you get enough drop pod resource to be able to buy it. The second perk we have on it is called Killing Spree. It's another tier 3 perk, which is farmable, and I also have a video on that, and it will be in the link in the description of this video down below. If you don't know how to get Killing Spree, check out that video, and there's a nice easy method to get that. And then as for our armor, the very first thing we look for is to make sure that all of it has bonus firepower. That's my #1 thing when I look for armor. And then when I'm farming armor, I always look to have the bottom perk. So the bottom perk on all of these is naturally spawning on every piece. So when you're farming helmets and you're trying to find the right helmet for this build, you need to find a helmet that has Bloodlust as the bottom perk. The top perk doesn't matter. The tier 1 doesn't matter. The bottom perk is what matters. When farming chest pieces, you need to make sure that you find one with Bloody Boost. With the leggings, you have to farm it until you find buckshot shells. With your gauntlets, you're going to want to make sure you farm it until you get a Vampiric Mag. And then with your boots, you want to make sure you farm it until you get Emergency Stance. Once you get all those farmed out, you can slot in all those top mods, which you'll probably have unlocked already. Now they're only tier 1 and tier 2s, so you don't need any lucky legendaries for them. That's just blues and epics, and you should be able to make this. Throw this all together, run that skill tree up there, and then just practice the build. like I was explaining in the run through of that expedition you guys watched, ammo is the #1 thing you need to focus on. When you're killing an elite, you're gonna run out of ammo a lot of the time, so back off when you're down to like 10 shells or something. Go kill a few trash ads, then come back and run into that elite and kill him. And then always make sure that you're keeping that bloodlust and killing spree up. That's where your biggest damage numbers are coming from. And they're going to ask you to be able to keep killing ads periodically within a time limit. If you're not killing ads, you're not going to have that maxed out DPS, and you're going to kind of feel like you're not shooting for a lot of damage. This build is based off being able to clear ads and deal more damage as you're going through the ads. Now, there are some points like maybe Malak is going to be a pain in your butt because you don't have a whole lot of ads to deal with. That's just kind of the case it is. But otherwise, as long as you're clearing through ads and even killing elites, just keep up that killing spree. You're going to do a lot of damage. Now, for the skills that we are using, the Time Rift and the Borrowed Time, for Borrowed Time and Twisted Round, you want to use them all the time when you can. Twisted Round should never go off if you're running the build correctly, and Borrowed Time is going to come off periodically, but just turn it back on every time you can. It's going to give you a huge firepower boost due to the skill we're running right there. For Time Rift, I mostly use that on enemies I know that are going to take more than a mag to kill. They're going to give that vulnerability because of the mod that we're running there, and it's going to get them from stunning you and shooting you and a whole lot of bad things. That's why I put Time Rift into this build over Hunt and Prey, is because I noticed Time Rift is great for stunning that elite for a little bit, because what's really annoying when fighting elites is they will do like their ground pound or their melee, and they'll knock you out of the way to stop you from DPSing. But with Time Rift, if you use it correctly, you can get them to stay out of combat until you pretty much kill them, which is so much faster in my opinion than having to deal with them meleeing you out of the way. That will pretty much do it for this build. If you guys enjoyed it or you found it helpful, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a lot. Leave me a comment about what you think about this build. Have you ran something similar before? If you need any help with any of this build or figuring it out, make sure to leave a comment as well. I will respond with the best that I can. You can also get a hold of me in my Discord, and I will reply to you as quick as I can in my Discord as well. If you want to see some more Outrider build content like this, make sure to smash that subscribe button. I make builds all the time, and I plan to for quite a while. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Spikes out.